Welcome to this series of tutorial videos for the second generation of Boost Live. Over the course of these tutorial videos, we will look at how the search, audition and download functions work, as well as how to build playlists. We're also going to be looking at new features. Presently, I'm not logged in, which means my downloads are currently disabled. If you don't have a login, simply click here in the top right of the screen to register yourself. I'm going to log in, put in my details now. As you can see, I'm now logged in. Let's look at the home page. First things first, the home page now features a selection of album covers. You can click on these white arrows here, which will scroll to reveal additional album covers. These are currently set at random, but they will feature new releases. To listen to any of these albums, simply click on the album artwork. Once you've clicked on the album artwork, you can click on any of these tracks to preview them. We will dive into the new features of this Wave player later on in the tutorial videos. But for now, let's click back on the home screen tab to reveal the home screen. You will see some new additions which have been added to the home screen. We've now got Play Random Track and Show Random Album. These have both been added as a way of giving you, the user, a lucky dip if you're looking for inspiration. As you can see, we're now playing a random track. If you click on Show Random Album, this will then change to a random album within the Boost Music catalogue. Now we're going to take a look at the new and improved playlist section over here on the right hand side of the screen. The featured playlist section here will always have any playlists that we deem to be topical or seasonal. As you can see, currently it's summertime at the time of recording this tutorial, so the World Cup and summer playlists are featured. We will also include Boost staff picks and any new libraries or releases. To open up one of these playlists, simply double click on the name here. The playlist will now load and you can scroll through and listen to the different tracks. Let's click on one of the tracks to play one. If you like any of these featured playlists and would like to keep them for future reference, then you will want to copy to your playlists. To do this, simply click on the Copy to My Playlist button here. If you then scroll to the bottom of the playlist section here, you will see My Playlists. Click on this to expand. You should then see the playlist you have copied from the featured playlist section added to it here. Let's just have a further look at the My Playlist section and see what some of these buttons and features do. My Playlists are playlists that have been created by you or shared to you from another person. Most likely that will be us if you ever send us over a brief and we send you back a playlist. To create a new playlist, you will need to click on the plus button here. Then all you have to do is type in the name you want to call the playlist. For this, I'm going to call it Test. To create the playlist, then click on the tick sign, which says Save. It has now put the playlist to the top of the pile. To add tracks to this playlist, click on the Add to Playlist sign here. Once clicked on this, you can drag and drop to the playlist of your choice. As you can see, we've got one track featured in the playlist. Let's add some more. Every time you add a track to the playlist, you will see the number over here go up. Once this playlist is created, you can do a number of things. Click the playlist to open in the window in the left-hand side. You can now delete tracks, audition individual ones, and download the tracks you like. To delete a track, click on the cross sign here. To audition any of them, click on the play button. You can also get the music reporting details for the individual tracks by clicking on the queue. This will then download an Excel document with the music reporting details. Here are the music reporting details, as you can see. We have the album number, the track name, composer, library, and the publisher. This is obviously extremely helpful for music reporting. You can also download a whole playlist and get the cue sheet information for a whole playlist by clicking on the buttons here. To download any of these tracks, simply click on the download button here, or after auditioning a track, you can click on the download button here. Two places to download from, here and here. Should you want to change the name of the playlist, you can do so by clicking here. Then all you have to do is delete what you have and type in a new playlist name. Then click the tick button to save the new name. Other features to do with the playlist section. Another new feature is the ability to share the playlist via social media platforms. You can click on this button and share this playlist via Facebook, Twitter. You can also share via email and get a direct link. To share this playlist via email, click on the @ sign. Type in the recipient you want to share the playlist with and hit send. To get a short link, click on the short URL, copy the URL and paste wherever you want to. What we have over here on the left side of the screen are two tabs, Libraries and Styles. Libraries will show you all of the labels we represent. To explore the albums within these libraries, click the Info button and it will expand. You can then click on any of these albums and they will appear here in the Show Albums section. You can also click the Album Artwork button, which will bring up the album artwork for that entire library. The other tab we have here is the Styles tab. This is a good way to get you started by giving broad music choices of different styles and genres of music for programming. You can click on any of these styles here to expand the selection of albums that fit that style criteria. Again, if you want to, you can click on the album artwork here, and this will display the artwork for all the albums in the ambient chill style. The new search bar has now been relocated to the left-hand side of the interface. For previous users of Boost Live, you'll remember it being in the centre. Our search interface works on keywords. You can type in style, genre, instrumentation, descriptive words, and moods. You can also search by library, album, composer name, and track title. For demonstration purposes, let's search for a very broad style of music. Let's type in the word drama. As you can see, there are 1,347 tracks. A way of narrowing this field is to type in extra words into the search bar. For example, let's type in the word crime before drama. We should now see a smaller amount of tracks come up. There is another way of doing this in the new Advanced Search feature. That's by clicking Search within Results. We're now going to explore each one of these features to help with your advanced search. Starting at the top, we have BPM, duration, year, search by user tag, and search within results. Search within results is another way of adding extra descriptive words, or adjectives, or styles or genres into the term you are searching for. So for example, if we type in drama, and search, we can now type the word tense and click search within results. This will now find tracks that have got the tag drama and tense in them, and as you can see, has narrowed the field to 294 tracks. Search by user tag is a new feature that enables you to tag individual tracks and then find them later. If we click this button on the track up here, it will launch a text box. If we now type some descriptive words such as good for documentaries into the box, and then go back onto our search box and type in the word documentaries with the search by user tag ticked, we should see the track we have tagged. We've now tagged the track, and we're now going to search by user tag. As you can see, the track that we tagged, Night Runners, up here previously, is now displaying in the search results. The other thing we can do is set the parameters to year. So, for example, let's look for a style of music and leave it open from 2002 to 2014. As you can see, we have 438 tracks. If I now set the parameters from 2010 to 2014, we should see a narrower field. As you can see, 335 tracks. We can also search by track duration. So, using the same term of jazz in our search, we can set the duration parameters here. As you can see, it's narrowed down to 162 tracks that are between 2010 and 2014 and between the timescales of 1 minute 59 and 3 minutes 4. The next thing we could do is change BPM settings. This means we're looking for tracks within a certain BPM range. The next thing we can do is search for tracks within a certain BPM range. As you can see, we've narrowed the field even more to 29 tracks. If you wanted to reset the advanced search parameters, simply drag them from 0 to the highest value. This is now the default setting. Once we've completed our search, what do these buttons over here actually do? Well, we have an information button. This will display the track information as well as the different versions we have of any track. Second button we have in the sequence is the Add to Playlist. We have looked at this in a previous tutorial, but to recap, click on it to drag and move to your playlist. Just above the search results here is a downward facing arrow button. If you click on this, it will bring up the view options. You can change this from the default, which is tracks, to albums or libraries. You can also sort alphabetically or by date. The default is set to date, so the newest music always comes to the top. Personally, I like the way the defaults are set, but this gives you the option to change it. The audio player at the top of Boost Live has some new features which we'll now explore, as well as looking at all the other existing features. First, let's have a look at the audio player itself. Whenever you click on a track, it will load into the player above. You can move through the track by clicking on different parts of the waveform. To go to the next track or the previous track in either a playlist or a search window, click on the following buttons. Now let's have a look at the Snip functions, which is a new addition to Boost Live. Essentially, you can make and download rough edits by clicking on the scissors symbol and arranging a start and end point like this. Once you have got the start and the end point in your desired positions, you can preview this by clicking play. When you are happy with the snip, click the download button here. This will then begin to download the exact edit you have made. The other new additions are the sharing and the tagging buttons to the right of the player. Click on the share button. You then have the option of sharing this track via Facebook, Twitter, email, or copying a short link of the URL. The tag button we looked at in the search and advanced search features video, but to recap, click on the tag button and type in anything into the text box that you wish. Next time you search for any of these words in the search options, this track should appear. The final button at the top here, and probably the most obvious one, is the volume control. Click the button once to mute it, or slide the fader left to make quieter, right to make louder. As we saw in the last tutorial video, all these buttons to the right hand side of the tracks have a certain purpose. These first two we looked at in the previous tutorial video, but just to recap, let's click on the track information button. This brings up all the information for the track, including the alternate versions. The next button here is the drag to playlist. Simply click on it and drag, add to one of the playlists on the right hand side. This button here, shaped like a star, is the Favorites button. By clicking on this, it saves the track in your Favorites tab. You can view your favourites at any time by clicking on the Favorites tab above. Next to the Favorites button is the Download button. Now at the moment our downloads are set to 320k MP3s. I will show you how you can change your file format in the last tutorial video. Once you click on this button, either here or up in the track above, it will begin to download. If you're on PC, it will download and ask you where you want to save, but on Mac, which I'm on now, it will download straight into your downloads folder. The final button here is the cue sheet button. Users familiar with our hard drive will have seen this feature rolled out for some time now. By clicking on this button, you will be downloading the music reporting information in an Excel document. Finally, we are going to be looking at these tabs below the audio player. And we're also going to learn how to change your profile settings. The first tab is the home screen, which of course takes us to the home page. The second along will be where your last search results reside. As you can see, the last one we did was jazz. Similarly, Show Album will also reveal the last album you were looking at. The Playlist tab will also do the same thing. It will show the last playlist you were viewing. That was of course our test one. History will bring up all the tracks you have listened to in order of the latest track at the top. This is particularly useful if you have lost a track you have listened to and can't remember what album or playlist it was in. You are able to access the same thing with a visual reminder by clicking this tab at the bottom. Click on the red bar here and move from left to right. The last tab along the top is the Favourites tab. This just shows all the tracks you have clicked the favourite symbol on. Now you may recall me speaking earlier about how to change your download file format settings. This is one of the things you can do in your profile settings. Click up here to view or edit your profile. Now, if I wanted to, I could change my username, my password, I could change my email address, my name, company address, or mobile number. If you do make a change, make sure you click Update Profile. It will then say your profile is updated successfully. The other things you can do is change how the search results are set by default. At the moment, it is set by date, but you can change it alphabetically. You can also click here to subscribe to our newsletter. This will be newsletters on latest releases and any features. You can also change your browsing history from history to favourites, but most importantly, over here is your download format. At the moment, mine is set to WAV, but the default is always MP3 320k. If you need WAVs, please make sure you click on WAV and hit Update Profile. That rounds up this series of tutorial videos for Boost Live, the second generation. If you do have any problems or want to ask us any questions, please contact us by either emailing music@boostmusic.com or calling us in the office 01483 267 000. Please do also get in touch if you ever need help with a music search. One of us will get back to you with a playlist of ideas within 30 minutes. Thanks for watching, and we do hope you enjoy the new version of Boost Live.